Welcome to Home Ownership Today. Tim Qualls along with Greg Wolf, Alan Wolf. Glad that you guys could join us. Today, we've been educating you for quite some time. Today, we're going to try to keep on educating you and at the same time, give some tips out there as far as taking care of one's credit. I mean, that's very important today, Greg.
Absolutely. It's become even more important in the last few months. For our business, credit scoring has a even greater impact than it used to on interest rates. So it's very important that people try and get their credit score as high as possible.
Yeah, and keep it that high. And there's some certain things that you can do personally to do that. And then we're going to also give some insight on today's current rates. I mean, today, I see it every day, Alan, going, which way is it heading? We're going to talk a little bit about that.
Well, rates fluctuate daily. Every lender puts out a rate sheet every day, and sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. Now, it isn't a major consequence, but it could be 1/8 of a point, 1/4 of a point, quarter of up, quarter down, who knows. So we have the advantage of checking with many different lenders on their rates every day, so we can offer you the best rate possible by going to all these different lenders, getting their rate sheets, and whoever comes in with the best rates, we can offer those to you.
Yeah, and so it's important that you understand what we're talking about. And the main thing we're talking about is mortgages. And when I say that, it's, if you want to redo your mortgage or if you're looking to buy a house right now, I mean, this is the best time in the market. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We've got so many things today in today's show to cover. But it's important for folks to understand. And I said this last show, and I think will continue saying it. I've known Alan Wolf and Greg Wolf for quite some time. When it comes to people handling that big of money for you, I mean, that's a huge investment. You want to be sure you're protected by the right people that's going to look at your best interests involved, and that's what these guys do. And we're going to tell you how to get the number's going to be on the bottom of the screen the entire time. Please pick up the phone. I don't care what your questions are. It might be on how to change your credit score in a little bit. That's where these guys come in and give you some insight on that and a lot of things. We're going to discuss all that, but I just want to get that out there because you definitely want somebody that you really can trust handling that side of your business. And I'm telling you, these two guys right here can do it. So write down the telephone number because I'm sure before the show's over with, you're going to have a question, whether it's refinancing or buying a new home, whatever the case would be. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get right into your credit score, so stay with us.
Home Ownership Today is brought to you by Frank Rubino Companies. For more than half a century, Rubino Companies has built over 100 communities and over 22,000 homes. Featuring Carosi Builders. When Jack Carosi signs off on a new home, he puts his reputation on the line. With Frank Rubino Companies, customer satisfaction is not just a slogan.
Hi, and welcome back. You just got through watching a couple ads there about Rubino Homes and Jack Carosi Homes. I want to tell you right now, there is some property out there. These guys have got some great properties at 55 and older, which I'm going to move into so the kids can't come visit you and anything else. The great properties, you definitely want to check them out. They're right there on their website, and we'll give you more.
Well, that 55 and older community is down near the Newark Senior Center, and it's really... Certainly with the market the way it is, it's slowed down a little bit, but we are selling down there. The people there are great. They love it after they get in. It's an older community. There's a lot of amenities there. You can go to downtown Newark on the bus, go to dinner, come home, don't have to worry about taking your car and parking it. And there's a lot of amenities that people 55 and older are looking for.
Yeah.
And Jack Carosi certainly has the reputation.
I was going to say,
building.
he's custom home builder, been one of the best home builders in this area for many years. And of course, Rubino's got all kinds of properties, especially if you want to go below the canal a little bit. There's a lot of, and prices, and before we get into, right now, folks, I don't know how to stress this the most. If you want a home, today's the day to buy. I don't care what your situation is or what you think the future's going to bring, because it's going to get, it can't get much worse than what it is right now.
Well, I don't know of any builder right now who won't make any kind of deal he has to get you into his house. Certainly, Rubino, below the canal, we have 100% financing through the United States Department of Agriculture. He will bend over backwards to get you in there right now. You can call your shots.
basically.
So it's worth looking. If you're out there and you thought of owning a home, newlyweds out there, or people that's, wanting to sell a home up here, maybe look going closer down to the beach area, great opportunities to buy homes. But before you can buy a home, you got to be sure, as we were saying earlier, about credit scores. It's very important that people know the do's and don'ts of what to do and what not to do to keep their credit score and raise their credit score, because you can make that credit score continue to go up on a regular basis if you do the right things. And you guys, and that's where you guys come in. That's what I want to stress to people. You not only do mortgages and put that out there, but when people sit down with you one-on-one, you discuss these items with them. I mean, they might want to buy a house today, but you say to them, hey, look, if you can do this for the next month or so, that's going to make this happen, which is going to drop the interest rate. Some do's and don'ts.
You see a lot out there. There's a credit repair specialist. We'll be your credit repair specialist. You come to us, we'll teach you how to fix your credit, and in the end, we're going to get a loan for you, because that's what we're supposed to do. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about how credit scoring works, because, people, I ask them on the phone if I'm talking to the first time, well, I think I got to, they don't really know what the scoring value is. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit. Basically, your credit score is dependent on, one, if you have late payments on any of your trade lines. 2, how long you've had your credit. 3, how many inquiries are on your credit report in the last 90 days. And 4, the proportion of your current balance on, say, your credit cards to the highest credit limit on the account. So that's basically where you have to direct your focus when you want to improve your credit score. Now, I think nationwide, the average credit score is somewhere around 680. For our purposes, if you can get a credit score of 740, you basically have the best of it when it comes to getting a mortgage, because the best interest rates out there are offered to people with credit scores of 740 and higher. So we can certainly do loans. FHA loans aren't quite as credit score sensitive. They still are, but not quite as bad as conventional loans. So, down to, say, a 620 score, even in some cases a 580 score, we'll still have financing for you. But if you want to get the best of everything, 740 is what you need to shoot for.
And that's important that people understand, Alan. I mean,
well, you can get the same rate as a guy with 740 if you have 680, but it's going to cost you some money to do that, because there's hits to the rate in pricing, so we have to charge you for it. So if a guy 740 can get 5%, and here comes along a guy with 680, and he wants 5%, because that's the amount of money per month he wants to spend, we can get you that, but it might cost you 3/4 of a point or a point in pricing in order to get to that.
Right.
And also, Tim, there are some do's and don'ts that we have for people who are applying for mortgages and looking for credit. And one of the major things not to do is don't go out and buy a new car right now. If you're looking to buy a house or looking to refinance, don't buy a new car. Don't open a new credit card. And don't close any credit cards. Because, like Greg said, the relationship of the amount you owe to the amount of credit you have out there affects your score. If you have $100,000 worth of credit on the street and you owe $100,000, that hurts. If you have $100,000 credit open and you only owe $20,000, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, so it's all in, and when you're looking at it, it's all in getting the best rates that you can possibly get, because there's mortgages. I want people to understand, for people that's in trouble, I mean, there's ways to get into homes and stuff and refinancing and all that, but we're looking at, how to get you the best possible financing that's on the market today, and that's where you guys come in, and that's do's and don'ts you have. I mean, it's not something that you guys created. A lot of research into it. I mean, I know that you've done quite a bit into it, and if they want that information, guys, if you're just looking at that information, pick up the phone, call Greg, call Alan. They'll be more than happy to run over, how do I get my credit score up?
One point I'd like to make, Tim, I mean, when I'm looking at somebody's credit, I mean, that's a very personal thing. And, I'm going to have to ask some questions about certain things. And, I want people to feel like they can be open and honest about it, because, if they're hiding some things or reluctant to tell me things, it doesn't really help us.
It's going to come out. It's going to come out.
So, I don't want to judge somebody. People have issues in their past. That's the way of life, and I don't. We don't judge people, so we don't want people to be embarrassed about their credit, so on and so forth. Basically, we're there to, procure them.
I guess the best way to look at it, be up front with us, and we're going to tell you exactly where you stand and what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And that's
if you're not where you want to be right now, we can, come up with a plan so you can be where you want to be.
Yeah, and I think that's a great service you guys are talking to about people out there, and when it comes to those credit scores, to help people get and there again, like I said, folks, when I talk about it, you want people handling your mortgage, because there's a lot of different ways to get more. You can go to banks, you can do this, you can do that. Your real estate agent will hook you up with different people.
You can go online.
Yeah, go online. You can do many different ways to do it, but you want somebody there that's looking out for your best interest. And when you're looking out for my best interest, I guess it's kind of like sitting down with an attorney and I'm getting a criminal charge. It's best to lay it all out there on the line, exactly what's taking place, so I can see what the best source and solution is going to be for your problems.
And we're not credit specialists, but we've dealt with it enough where we have a feel for what needs to be done to improve your credit, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So, and like Greg says, score is very important. We can't do any subprime loans, as you all know, they're gone. So the days of old of yesteryear are not
where you can come in and you can kind of fudge on a little bit.
We need to fit people into conforming loans or FHA loans.
So everybody's going to need to improve their credit.
Yeah, and then what to do to avoid during the loan process. Say I came in and we're there, we're in the middle of it. There's certain things there that fall in that do's and don'ts as well. While that process is taking place, I take it. So like you said, I might be sitting here and doing that. The last thing while you're waiting on that to go settle and everything is go out here and buy a brand new car.
Basically,
I'm not trying to knock the car dealers.
But if you have good credit, right now, basically your modus operandi should be just business as usual until your loan's closed.
Yeah, and
you don't need any crazy expenditures. Just conduct.
Yeah, and it's
like
important.
You have been.
It's important that goes. We're talking about buying and getting new mortgages, but refinancing, same scenario falls there. And I think it's important we cover some of that. And once again, talk about what's on the market as far as interest rates go. There's a lot of things out there, folks. I'm telling you, if you're looking to buy a house. I don't know how to stress it more. I guess a good example would be if you're looking to buy a house where 2 years ago would have cost you $400,000. Today you're walking into that same house for around $300,000. I mean, that's how much
it's
value. And when you're talking that difference in a house, you're talking. I mean, my goodness, the difference in what you're getting in a house when you're looking at it. So say you were looking at a $300,000 house. Today it's down around $225,000. You're getting that big house you always dreamed of, that retirement house. And there's not a better way to look at it than first looking at your financial situation. And we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into some rates and all that. I think that's important. So stay with us. We'll be right back for more of Homeownership Today.
Homeownership Today is brought to you by Frank Rubino Companies. For more than half a century, Rubino Companies has built over 100 communities and over 22,000 homes. Featuring Carosi Builders. When Jack Carosi signs off on a new home, he puts his reputation on the line. With Frank Rubino Companies, customer satisfaction is not just a slogan.
Hi, and welcome back here to Homeownership Today. I just want to remind everybody, if you're looking in the newspaper and stuff, you see those rates at 4.75. It's not quite that. It's going to cost you a lot of money in most cases to get to that 4.75. They don't show that. They just put that big number out there. Alan, as you were saying earlier, you got to look at that APR.
Yeah, the bigger the disparity in the rate quoted and the APR, the bigger the disparity, that means they charge you a lot to get that rate. If the disparity between the two rates is very minuscule or not very much, that means that you weren't charged a lot. And that's what we strive to do.
Yeah, so it's important, once again, get a hold of experts. I mean, and somebody you can trust that's going to do the best thing you possibly can. And when you talk about rates are probably hitting the lowest they're going to hit right now. I mean, and I don't know how to stress it more. You know, homeowners, they're looking to refinance, whatever the case might be, right now, because you and I both experienced it. Greg was a little young, but we both experienced getting up to that 15, 16% interest rates here back in the late 80s going into the 90s.
And from all indications, I really believe we may get back to that point. Who knows how many years it's going to take. So while rates are at historic lows, you know, let's get in there and get your mortgage in shape. If the government keeps printing money the way they are, all indications are that inflation's going to hit, which means higher prices, higher rates. So it may take 2 or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But in the meantime, once inflation starts taking over, you're not going to be able to afford a mortgage.
Yeah,
so get it done now.
I think the point is, today might not be the day, but I think, you know, over the course of probably the next 6 months is your window of opportunity to refinance and really get the lowest rate possible. Now, rates have climbed slightly over the last couple weeks. One of the reasons is that many of the lenders have cut down their staff because 2008 was kind of a slow year in the mortgage business. Now, November, December, January have been gangbusters in the mortgage business because everybody wants to refinance, and lenders simply don't have enough staff to keep up with all the loans. So they're pricing loans to not get any right now. So, you know, with our customers, you have to play a little bit of a waiting game, but the window of opportunity to refinance is now. And basically, you need to call us, and we need to get an application started.
Yeah, and that's the key. I don't know how to stress that the most. The best thing to do if you're out there, if you're looking at refinancing, you're looking at buying a new home, whatever the case might be, is to get with these two gentlemen right here, sit down and see what the best scenario is. And it might be, hey, here's where you're at right now. Let's wait 3 months, and it's going to fall to here. That's their job. That's what they do for a living every day, folks. They check the market. They see where the interest rates are. They're going to put you in the best situation that's possible on the market today. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I want to thank you, Greg Allen, for coming on, and I hope you got a little education. Pick up the phone. It's on the bottom of the screen there. Call these guys today, and stay with us. We'll be back for more of Homeownership Today.
Homeownership Today is brought to you by Frank Rubino Companies. For more than half a century, Rubino Companies has built over 100 communities and over 22,000 homes. Featuring Carosi Builders. When Jack Carosi signs off on a new home, he puts his reputation on the line. With Frank Rubino Companies, customer satisfaction is not just a slogan.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeownership Today. I want to introduce Dave Atarian. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Tim, good to be here.
I'm doing great. Now, what we want to do is, talk about, because we talk about different things as far as mortgages and stuff like that, but it's important to talk about houses that's on the market today, and especially folks out there that are looking to sell their houses, or people looking to buy houses. Where do you go? Where do I get the best deal and everything? So let's talk about your side of it first.
Well, it's funny. I always get the question, how's the market? As soon as you tell somebody you're in real estate. And the real answer is there's 3 different kinds of markets depending on what you are. If you're a seller, there's one kind of market. If you're an investor, there's another kind of a market. And of course, if you're a buyer, there's another kind of a market. So let's talk about each one just for a second. Buyers right now have a tremendous choice out there. There's a tremendous amount of inventory.
Not a better time to buy.
Oof. I tell you, the interest rates are unbelievable as well. Just 2 months ago, they were 6.75%. Now you can get them under 5%, 2% less. And what a lot of people don't understand, that for every percentage point difference, you can either buy 10% more house or have a 13% reduction in payment. So what a great time to buy, taking advantage of the house.
Now that's per percentage point, and it's down 2%. So if I'm buying a house today, then you're telling me that my payments would be like 26%
less than, say, for example, you were going to buy a $300,000 house and your payment was going to be, just to use a round number, $2,300. Basically, you take off $460 from that $2,300 payment, you get the same house for that kind of money, which is just what an awesome deal. And the second thing people don't understand, say you use it the other way, say you're comfortable with the $2,300 payment, now you can buy a $360,000 house instead of a $300,000 house. And I can tell you,
and its payment's going to stay where it was.
Payment's going to stay the same. And what people don't understand, there's a huge difference between a $360,000 house and a $300,000 house. So you get a lot more for your money right now. That the houses are on sale. Chances are the house that was $360 was probably $425, $450, a couple of years ago. So you're getting a great house on sale. Then you add on top of that great rates. Whew, what an opportunity to buy.
Yeah, and of course, there again, you represent Keller Williams and been doing so for many, many years here. And I want people to understand the reason I asked Dave to come be a part of this show is when the times were good, we're blowing it out. I mean, you were doing 400 houses a year, basically, yourself. And then even with the times hard, you're still moving houses. And that's important for people that are selling their houses to understand that that's what you're here to do is to move their houses. And you do it a little bit different. One of the ways you do it is, of course, being sitting here on television with us and things, but getting that house out there to the marketplace is very important to you.
Well, right now, with as many choices that buyers have, we want to profile houses. We want to be a little bit different. We want to make sure that we can showcase a house in a way that really makes it stand out against all the other ones that are out there.
83% of homes that are being listed now are being viewed online before you can even get a prospective buyer into the property. And we all know the inventory of houses on the market now, there's a lot of them that are vacant. So really, if their first view of a house is a vacant property, it's going to look the same after they see vacant after vacant after vacant. So what we do is we'll take smaller items and some furnishings. We don't furnish a house completely, but we do represent it in a way that they can get an idea of what it could be, not necessarily decorating, but staging.
Showing that house before the stagers came into it and what it looked like and everything. And you see TV shows on TLC and things of professionals coming in and to help people. You have those professionals right here in Newcastle County that work with you.
Absolutely. They're on my team. And it's important to sell a lot of real estate that you have a strong team around you. And I use Teresa Minicello with Stage Right Staging. When you see the houses, 92% of buyers right now are online. And when you have houses that are vacant and you just see blank rooms, it doesn't really stand out. So there's nothing really.
There's no appeal to it.
There's no appeal, especially if you see house after house that's vacant. So what we do is we bring in a stager that just does a phenomenal job, brings in the furniture, the pictures, the plants, and as you're gonna see the before and afters with this particular house. What a dramatic difference. And that's one of the ways that we stand out. And I just want to correct you. I haven't sold 400 houses in a year. 400 houses since I've been licensed.
Yeah.
Which is when an average realtor sells between 4 and 6 a year. I'm selling 80 and 90 a year. So there's a little bit of a difference, but we do sell a lot of houses, that's for sure.
Yeah, and listen, getting them out there is important. And staging, I mean, because everybody watches these shows. I know that's on, where they have the people come in and revamp houses and make them look. Because when people come through a house, they want to picture it, and it's hard to picture a house when it's empty rooms of how it's going to look. But when you walk in and it's already decorated, it's already there, then you start getting ideas and saying, well, yeah, that my couch would look good, Well,
it's the exact reason that builders stage homes, because people don't like going into an empty house and seeing blank walls, basically.
Right.
So that's why builders stage houses. You know, a builder's model, it looks gorgeous. And people want their house to look exactly like that. And that's why we stage properties, even properties that have furniture in it and people live in those properties. It's important that we bring our stager in, because as a guy that is not inclined to do these kind of things, it's amazing to me how when you twist a bed and turn a sofa and put a plant here and there and take off some
It's a professional interior decorator coming into your home is what it is.
It's absolutely what it is. It's part of the service that we provide.
Some of you might not want to sell your house after this guy comes in because
I'm going to tell you, some of these people say, I wish this house looked this good for as long as I lived there. But I tell people, once you put your house on the market, you don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
So it's important that we, pack up and get ready to go, because we're going to sell that house. And that's really what we try to do, is help sellers reach their goals just as well as we help buyers reach their goals. It's important that we do everything that we can in this market. And you'll see in this video, the staging just makes a dramatic difference. And even for people that live in their house, don't feel your house has to be vacant to use us, because we'll take what you have and really shine it up beautifully to make it different. So when a buyer comes into your house versus the 3 other houses in your neighborhood that are for sale, your house will have that wow factor. Because the only thing I can possibly do is have someone walk into your house and go, this is my house. It could be the first person, it could be the 20th person, but that's really what the goal is today. And really,
because it's a buyer's market right now. So you know when you're doing it, buyers are shopping. But when here just a couple of years ago, it was grab whatever you could as fast as you could because they weren't going to be there long. Right now, it's a buyer's market, so you want to impress that buyer so much that remembrance is right there in the mind. Let's talk about this house. Now, what street is this on?
It's 1103 Janice Drive in Newark, actually in Rob Scott Manor, right off of Route 4 in Newark. It's a beautiful 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath with a massive finished basement, 1-car garage, a big screened-in porch in the backyard. And this house is new carpet and new paint. And you'll see in the before pictures the house looked great before, but then you'll also see in the after pictures what it looks like after. Just a dramatic difference.
Yeah, and great location right there, Rob Scott. I mean, that's you know, especially Newark area there by the university. Somebody that's going to work at the university or something of that nature. But they're good access to I-95 because I know you come out of there 2 seconds, you're on I-95.
Absolutely right, and I'll tell you what, it's a lot of house for the money. That house is on sale right now for $229,000 and for a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath with a finished basement, screened-in porch right there in Newark. It's a great deal.
You're hurting me because I know my house ain't worth it. but that's what's happened right now. The houses, you know, they appreciate it so rapidly. Now they've kind of come down to that level.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, Timmy, because if you're a seller right now, you have some choices. Okay, chances are, obviously, your house is not worth what it was last year or the year before. But in my mind, you have to ask yourself, is this the house that I want to stay in for the next 5 to 7 years? And a lot of people, you know, like you said, maybe they grabbed something the last 3 or 4 years because they had to.
Right.
And maybe there were some things that they wish they could do differently. What a great time now to use your house as a tool now to buy the house that's on sale with great interest rates to get you in the house that you really want to be in for the next 7 to 10 years. Because realistically, we don't know if we've hit the real estate bottom of the market yet. And of course, when we do hit the bottom, is it realistic to think that it's going to go right back up? No, it's going to stay flat for a while, just like it did in the mid-'90s before it starts creeping back up. So my thought is that, you know, if you want to take advantage of the market now on the buy side, used to be in the seller's market, we think about taking advantage of on the sell side. Let me make this money. But what you basically were doing was selling on the high end, but then you also bought on the high end. So what you're doing now is using your home as a tool to get a great investment for the future, because quite frankly, you know, if you look back to when you bought your first house, Timmy, and your parents bought their first house, historically, 6 to 8% year in, year out, the houses go up. Now you have this. But if you take the averages over a long term, they go up. So what a great time to buy when the market's corrected now. You know it's going to go back up. The houses that were $450 3 years ago, they're now, you know, $375. They're going to be $450 again.
And I don't think it's going to take as long as it did in the 90s because, you know, we had that same boom in the 80s where houses were going left and right, and then the 90s came in and they kind of stabilized down a little bit. Then, bam, they shot back up. I mean, in a couple of years, a lot of houses gained like $150,000, $200,000 worth of equity within a home. And that's unheard of. So they've settled back down. They've lost a little bit, but right now is no doubt about it the best time to buy a house. But it's a great time to list a house, especially with what you guys have got going on. If you're in that situation, you need to sell your home. I mean, don't wait until that last minute. If you want to upgrade into a newer home like you were talking about, get that dream house. Today, you got that tool there that you've been sitting in. Well, use that as your tool to get into that home of your dreams, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and especially as an investor myself with a lot of rental properties, and I buy and sell a lot of houses myself. Investors right now have a great opportunity as well. The houses are on sale for investors as well. What a great time to buy properties that are going to cash flow. They're going to increase in value very quickly. What a great time to start investing, because obviously the stock market, as we know, guys, may or may not be the best place to be now. I'm not a stockbroker, but someone told me a joke. You know why they call them stockbrokers? Because they're broker than you are.
Yeah.
But
I like that. On that note, because we're going to come back, we're going to talk about investors and everything else in future shows. I mean, because it's just a great time to list your house through you guys. Don't forget what they do. They come in and revamp it. They bring an interior decorator, make it look right so it sells quicker. Dave, we're out of time. I want to thank you so much. And we got so much. Website real quick, if you would. It's
BigDavesHomes.com. And I'd really like to come out and put your house on TV here and feature your home. So please give me a call, and I'll tell you what we can just come out and say what your house is worth and what we can do for you.
Until next time, for the entire gang, thank you for watching. This is Home Ownership Today. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.